Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is Brother Araya, and today's Torah Parsha will be VICKEDNESS. It will be Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23 through chapter 7, verse 11. The HALFTORAH will be Yeshayahu chapter 40, verse 1 through 26. Alright, and before we get started, we always start with the Shema and then our prayers for the nation. Okay, we will recite the Shema in Hebrew, and then we will say it in the English. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Alakadon Hashem Echad, Baruch Shem Kavak Maktu, Le'alam Va'ed. V'havta'ed Hashem Elahaka, Bufku, Lafka, Osku, Nafska, Osku, Modeka. V'hayuha Devarim, Hale, Asher Anuki, V'zokha, Hayam, Alaveka. V'shenantam, Lavaneka, V'dabata, Ba'am. Beshivka, Bidveka, Ureka, Vidarek, Ushabaka, Ukameka, Ukshatam Leot, Ayadeka, Bahayu, Letotafut, Bieneka. Alright, and so that comes out to be, Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our supreme one, Yahweh is Akkad, is one. Benevolent is the name of his esteemed kingdom, forever and ever. And you shall love Yahweh with your power, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words that I command you today shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit at home, and when you walk in the way, and when you go to sleep, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them as a sign on your head, on your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. All right, and so for now, our prayers for the nation. Okay. And we will get those. As soon as I get my prayers for the nation. All right. And our prayers for repentance, our prayers for forgiveness, and our prayers for shalom. Bring us back, our Father, to your Torah. Bring us near, our Sovereign, to your service, and influence us to return in complete repentance before you. Benevolent are you, he that causes to resist, who desires our repentance. Forgive us, our Father, for we have transgressed. Pardon us, our Sovereign, for we have willfully transgressed. For a pardoner and forgiver are you. Benevolent are you, he that causes to resist, the gracious one who abundantly forgives. Heal us, he that causes to resist, then we will be healed. Save us, then we will be saved, for the one we praise is you. Bring healing that is complete for all our ailments, for our power and sovereign healer, who is faithful and compassionate, are you. Benevolent are you, he that causes to resist, who heals the sick of his people, Israel. Shalom, shalom, abundant, upon Israel, your people established forever. For it is you who are sovereign, master of all shalom. May it be good in your eyes to increase your people, Israel, at every time and every hour with your shalom. Baruch Hashem. All praises to the Most High, the Elohim, the Elohai of Abraham, the Elohai of Yakubah, the Elohai of Israel, and the Elohai of Isaac. Okay, now for a Torah Parsha, it is VICKEDNESS. It is Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23 through chapter 7, verse 11. With the HALFTORAH being Isaiah chapter 40, verses 1 through 26. All right, and so now we will dive into the Torah portion. Parsha. Verse 23, Deuteronomy chapter 3. And I besought Yahweh at that time, saying, O Adonai Yahweh, you have begun to show your servant your greatness, and your mighty hand for what else is there in Shamayim or in earth, that can do according to your works and according to your strength. I petition you, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain in Lebanon. But he that causes to exist was angry with me for your sakes, and would not listen to me. And he that causes to exist said to me, Enough of this, speak no more to me of this matter. Get up into the top of Pisgah, and take a good look westward and northward and southward and eastward, for you will not be allowed to go over the Jordan. But charge Joshua or Yeshua and encourage him and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which you shall see. And so we abode in the valley over against Beth Peor. Now here, this is after Moses had disobeyed the Most High and struck the rock twice instead of once, because Israel was getting on his nerves, was vexing him, right? And so this was his punishment that the Most High gave him, that he could not see the land, that he could not go into the land, but he could only see it, okay? Now we're on to chapter 4, all right? And the next video that we're going to do, I'm going to break down chapter 4, verses 1 through 6 in the Hebrew, and we're going to do a deep dive, all right? So that'll be the next video that's going to come up on that. Now, chapter 4, verse 1. Now, therefore, listen, O Israel, to the statutes and to the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and take over the land which he that causes to exist, Elohim of your fathers, has given you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish from it, that you may keep the commandments of he that causes to exist your power, which I command you. Now, right here, he's telling you and showing you we must not add on to the Most High's laws, right? And you can see that also in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 6, Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 32, where it also talks about that and for other additional witnesses. It also says you shall not diminish from it. Now, you have a bunch of Israelites that say, I understand the law, I know this law, but it's just not for me, for certain laws and things. That is diminishing from the Torah. That is diminishing from the Most High, he that causes to exist his words. So be careful what you say and what you think and what you have a problem or issue with in the Most High's laws that he gave to Moses to give to Israel. Right? So, verse 3. Your eyes have seen that he that causes to exist, have seen what he that causes to exist did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that follow Baal Peor, he that causes to exist your power has destroyed them from among you. And these were all the doctrines of Baal Peor. This is what Korah and all the rest of them did when the earth swallowed them up, and the golden calf. These are doctrines of seduction that many of the churches engage in, such as partners sleeping together without marriage, saying it is okay to eat unclean meats, and breaking the Most High's rules to appease denominationism. And that's what the churches, the Catholic churches, the Christian churches, the Protestant churches, and even some of these Israelites movements, they're doing the same exact thing, okay? It's just doctrines of seduction because it does not come from the Most High, he that causes to exist. Verse 4. But you that did remain trustworthy to he that causes to exist your power are alive, every one of you this day. Right? And so in my commentary, I say I have the only thing that guarantees us life on this earth is our trustworthiness to the Most High's Torah. Okay? The rest is commentary. That's why he told you that the whole duty of man is to fear the Most High and to keep his commandments. Okay? Because that is your life. That is what Moses told you in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. Choose life that you may live. Okay? Everybody dies. So what was Moses talking about? He was talking about eternal life, because the commandments is what gives you eternal life. Not saying that you have you understand it, but you have an issue with this, or not that this right here is not for me, but I'm an Israelite. No. You must do all the commandments, statutes, judgments, and you must, they are your life, okay? Like it says, verse 4, but you that did remain trustworthy to he that causes to exist, which means that you didn't grumble, you didn't mumble. Everything that Moses brought forth and he that causes to exist his law, you don't have a problem with. You accept it, and you accept it with gladness of heart, right? Trustworthy. But you that did remain trustworthy to he that causes to exist your power, right? Because he's our power, are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as he that causes to exist my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land which you are about to enter and possess. So see, right here, Moses is telling you, the statutes and commandments and judgments that the Most High gave to me to give to you, you have to do these in order to enter into the land, okay? In order to possess the land. And it's going to be the same exact way when we come back to possess our land the second time, right? Verse 6. And you shall guard them and do them, for this is your wisdom. Man-made wisdom is foolishness, while guarding and keeping the commandments of he that calls us to resist is what really sets us apart and makes us wise and understanding people. So again, for all those that say I understand this law or understand that law, but it's just not for me, that is your wise and understanding. That is your wisdom. The laws, every one of them, all the statutes, all the judgments. That is the wisdom from the Most High that he gave to Israel to make you be set apart from the nations. So for you that be having problems and issues with the Levite marriage, with the poly, you men that be having problems with taking on your deceased brother's wife, they have a problem, an issue of being a leader and a man in the house, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Okay? And you shall guard them. Not just keep them, guard them. And do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And when it says a wise and understanding people, this is speaking about Torah keepers, and certainly not Sunday Christians or New Testament Israelites. Verse 7. For what nation is there so great who has Elohim so close to them, as he that calls us to resist our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so right ruling as all this Torah? Right? And when it says right here, what nation has so right ruling as all this Torah? It says Israel is a tiny nation that has defied many bigger Islamic nations round about, being trustworthy to he that calls to resist and his Torah. While many Christian nations fell and today have become Islamic, just look at Egypt, Lebanon, Sudan, and Algeria as some examples. He that causes to resist has been trustworthy to Israel because of his contracts. Right? And that's the same thing that happened during the history of the world, right? As long as we kept our portion of the contract, all the nations round about of us were beneath us, and the Most High protected us against them. As soon as we broke the contracts in the Torah, started trying to be Christianities, believing in Yahshua, we went into slavery. All right, so verse 8 again. And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so right ruling is all this Torah, which I set before you this day? Only pay careful attention, lest you forget the things which your eyes have seen, and lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life. But teach them to your sons and your sons' sons. Does it say teach them to your daughters? No, because it's a patriarchal book. Teach them to your sons, sons, and your sons' sons. Why? Because they are in charge of teaching their family, their wives, their children, and etc. Right? Now, the Most High says, only be careful. Moses said, only be careful, lest you forget these things with your eyes. So what does he mean by that? We have a tendency to forget miracles, but our belief must be steadfast irrespective of miracles or not. This is one of Israel's chief problems. They saw with their eyes, but later forgot all about it and went whoring elsewhere. After Jesus, Yahshua, Islam, Buddha, all those. Israel has a problem with this. Our ancestors seen with their own eyes, they passed it down, but we don't believe. We haven't seen anything, so we don't believe. An evil nation looks for a sign. Okay? Now, verse 10, chapter 3, verse 10. Especially the day that you stood before he that caused to resist your power in Horeb, when he that caused to resist said to me, gather to me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And you came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire in the midst of Shemaim, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. Right? So light can only be seen in darkness. Hence the esteem of he that causes to resist was manifested. That's why it was dark, because light can only be seen in darkness. And he that causes to exist spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. Only you heard a voice. No one ever saw he that causes to exist real form and live. So that's why they heard the voice, but they didn't see him. And he declared to you his contract and agreement, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tablets of stone. Right. So the contract and agreement. This is also called the Sinaitic contract because it happened at Mount Sinai. Okay. So keep that in mind. So if you hear Sinaitic contract, that's what it's talking about. What the 10 commandments that Moses gave at Mount Sinai. And he that causes to exist commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that you might do them in the land. That you might do them in the land. Where you go to enter and possess it. Take you therefore good heed to yourselves, for you saw no manner of similitude on the day that he that causes to exist spoke to you in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, lest you corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, cross hanging around your neck, crescent moon, Buddha, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female. And right here, when he says this, what he means is any form of idol worship, whether Mary's statue or some other statue, such as a cow, horse, snake, or dog, is forbidden, as these were worshipped by heathen nations, and today many still continue this practice. Okay? The likeness of any animal that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flies in the air. And right here, my side notes that I put right here says some nations worship animals and call them Elohim, yet they are only made with hands by humans to earn money. Some heathen nations worship sea creatures as Elohim. Some nations worship the moon and the stars. Some today even worship the sun and worship fire. Verse 18. The likeness of anything that crawls on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth, unless you lift up your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of Shemaim should be driven to pay homage to them and serve them, which he that causes to resist your power has divided to all nations under the whole Shemaim. But he that causes to resist has taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Mitzrayim, to be to him a people of inheritance, as you are this day. And that is why we have no choice but to do the commandments, every last one of them, because we are the Most High's inheritance, and what he gave for us as an inheritance was land and the Torah. Okay? Furthermore, he that causes to resist was angry with me for your sakes, and swore that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go in that good land, which he that causes to resist your power gives you for an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not go over Jordan. But you shall go over and possess that good land. Take heed to yourselves, lest you forget the contract and the agreement of he that causes to resist your power, which he made with you, and make you a graven image of the likeness of anything which he that causes to resist your power has forbidden you. Right? Now, when it says of Yahweh your power, what does that mean? Many people in churches need to learn what a contract is. Same thing with the New Testament believers. They need to learn what a contract is. As they do not understand, neither do they obey the commandments set forth by he that causes to exist. But they all want favor. They all want salvation. Make it make sense. Verse 24, chapter 4, verse 24 of Deuteronomy. For he that causes to resist your power is a consuming fire, even the jealous El, and El means power, okay? When you shall produce children and grandchildren, And you shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and shall make a graven image or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of he that causes to resist your power, and provoke him to anger. I call the heavens, I call the Shamayim and the Eretz to witness against you this day, that you shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto you go, that you shall over Jordan to possess it. You shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. Now, what did Moses do right here in verse 26? What is this right here? What does he say? I call Shamayim and Eretz. That's heaven and earth. So who bears witness to everything that Israel does throughout the generations? Heaven and earth. Who bears witness to what Moses told Israel in Horeb on Mount Sinai? Heaven and earth. Shamayim and Eretz. That is why when Cain murdered Abel, it's the verse says his blood spoke out to him from the earth, because the earth and the heavens witnessed it. They spoke out to him. Okay? And he that causes to resist shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be the few in number among the heathen. Where he that causes to resist shall lead you. Right? And it says few among the heathen. He that causes to resist did scatter them. And we find that the Hebrew people were left few in number amongst all the nations, especially the Muslim nations. However, northern Israel was absorbed into the nations, and they lost their identity. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the northern kingdom and northern nations were absorbed into the Islamic and Muslim nations, which means that a lot of these Muslims in the countries are bloodline Israel from the northern kingdom. Okay? Now we're here, verse 28, chapter 4, 28. And there you shall serve powers, the work of men's hand, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. Now over here in America, what is the dominant religion? Christianity. What are the New Testament Israelite believers? Who are they worshiping? Yahshua. Right? They will tell you that they worship the Most High and give honor to Yahshua. It's the same thing. They're giving the glory of the Most High to another. Right? Yahshua cannot hear, cannot smell, cannot see, cannot save. And so many are doing this today. Many are doing verse 28, running after the heathen, even those in Israel that call themselves Israelites that believe in this New Testament. Deuteronomy 4 and 29. But if from now on you shall seek he that causes to resist your power, you shall find him, if you seek for him with all your heart and with all your soul. Now, he's going to go on to talk about the latter days. Verse 30. In the latter days, when days of distress come upon you, and if you will turn around to repentance to he that causes to resist your power, and shall be obedient to his voice, for he that causes to resist your power is a merciful El. He will not forsake you, neither destroy you, nor forget the contract or agreement of your avot, which he swore to them. Right? So the Most High is not going to forsake you, forgive you. And Moses is telling you right here, in the latter days, when days of distress come upon you. Right? So in the latter days, when the days of stress comes upon you. What are the latter days? Just like in the days of Noah, so shall be in the latter days. Right? So in the latter days, when tribulation and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Ishi, he that causes to resist thy El, and shall be obedient to his voice. Now, does it say to turn to Yahshua? Does it say to believe in Yahshua in the latter days? No, it does not. It says to turn back to he that causes to resist. So, when it says in the Old Testament, when it says that 2/3 of Israel shall be killed and 1/3 shall be saved with an everlasting Savior, who do you think those 1/3 is going to be? Is that 1/3 going to be the New Testament believers that hear Yahshua's verse and believe in Yahshua's voice and follow Yahshua's words? Or will it be the 1/3 that follows he that causes to resist voice? It is obedient to his voice that he commanded Moshe on Sinai. Verse 31. For he that causes to resist your power is a merciful El. He will not forsake you, neither destroy you, nor forget the contract or agreement of your avot, which is fathers, which he swore to them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man upon the earth, and ask from the one side of Shamayim to the other, whether there has been any such thing as this great thing is, or has been heard like it. Did ever people hear the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire as you have heard and live? And what does that mean? What does this verse mean right here? Well, Israel was and is the only nation with the special contracts that he that causes to exist formed. Yes, there are Israelites out of the land, but he that causes to exist does not know or have any agreement with heathens, but only Israelites, even while they are in the nations. Many Christians who are in the nations are unaware that they are biological Israel, while Gentiles who were once heathens were grafted into Israel by belief. They are both part of Israel and not any man-made church. First, denomination was Satan's way of keeping people separated and fighting over little things. He that causes to exist does not recognize any denomination but Israel. And for those that say that there won't be any people in the kingdom, who's going to build the kingdom? And when it says that those nations that do not come up to worship the Most High, he will not make it rain. Who are those nations? Because the kingdom is going to be the entire earth. It's going to be a remnant of every nation that makes it into the kingdom. There are remnants of every nation that serves the Most High. Okay? That right there destroys all that doctrine. Oh, only going to be Israel in the kingdom. Inside of Israel, the nation, it'll only be Israel, but the kingdom that the Most High is going to be ruling the whole entire world, it's going to be other nations. Right? Now, verse 34. Or has Elohim before tried to take a nation from the midst of another nation by trials, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that he that causes to exist your power did for you in Mizraim, before your eyes? Only you were picked so that you might know that he that causes to exist, he is Elohim. There is none else besides him. No New Testament. No Yahshua. No, Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, brother. None of that. Only you were picked so that you might know that he that causes to exist, he is Elohim. There is none else besides him. Out of Shamayim he made you to hear his voice, that he might instruct you. And upon earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought you out of his sight of his mighty power out of Mizraim. Now, it says right here, and because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them. He indeed loved our forefathers, from Abraham to Isaac to Israel. So he indeed loved our fathers in our patriarchal order that all the women of Israel hate today. These people, including Christians and Torah fans, who do not fully obey the Torah. And that's a lot of you women right here. You have a hard time understanding that this book is patriarchal. That the Most High goes through the man. He allows the man to have things that he does not allow the women to have. You hate the polygyny. You hate the status that the Most High has given you, even though it is a royal, regal, honorable status. Right? So we're going to read that again. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, because the seed belongs to the men. Children belong to the father. And brought you out in his sight with his mighty power out of Mizraim. Verse 38. To drive out nations from before you, greater and mightier than you are, and to bring you in and to give you their land for an inheritance as it is this day. Realize this from today and carefully consider it in your heart, that he that causes to exist, he is Elohim in the Shemaim above and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. Realize this from today and carefully consider it in your heart, that he that causes to exist, he is Elohim in the Shemaim above and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. No Yahshua. No Yahshua. You shall keep therefore his statutes and his commandments which I command you this day, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, and that you may prolong your days upon the earth, which he that causes to resist your power gives you forever. Now right here, this is not just for the land of Israel. He says, you shall keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command you this day. That means all the statutes, not the ones that you understand that are not for you, that you feel like they're not for you, not the ones that you understand that you just can't get over the hump because you're wicked. Okay? Keep all the statutes and his commandments, which he commanded you this day, that it may go well with you. A lot of y'all out there, you have a problem with this commandment, you have a problem with that commandment, and you can't understand why you keep having trouble in your life. Can't understand why your children are having trouble in their life, because you're wicked. To have a problem with one commandment means that you're wicked. Irregardless of what you think, no matter what anybody says, you're wicked. If you have a problem with the commandments, you're wicked. Then Moses selected 3 cities on the side of Jordan toward the sun rising. Anyone who accidentally kills someone without hatred might flee there, and that fleeing into one of these cities he might be safe. Namely, Bezer in the wilderness, in the plain country of the Reubeni, and Ramoth in Gilead of the Gadi, and Golan of Bashan of the Manassites. And this is the Torah which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spoke to the children of Israel after they came forth out of Mizraim. Now, Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, there is no light or truth in them. So when everybody talks about Isaiah 8:20, brother, let's talk about the testimony of Jesus. It's also including the testimony of Jesus. You are a goddamn liar. Verse 46, chapter 4, Deuteronomy. On this side of Jordan in the valley against Beth Peor, and in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amori, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote, after they were come forth out of Mizraim. And they possessed his land in the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, 2 sovereigns of the Amori, which were on this side of Jordan, toward the sun rising. So they were on the east side of the Jordan River. From Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even to Mount Zion, which is Hermon, and all the plain on this side of Jordan, eastward, even to the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. Chapter 5. And Moses called all Israel and said to them, Hear, O Israel, Shema Yisrael, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that you may learn and keep and do them. We don't have to participate in polygyny, brother. That was the way that the Most High said. Not everybody had that. Not everybody did that. Not everybody so-and-so. You're lying. That's the family structure that he had. Not everybody took the deceased brother's wife. You're right. But they were disgraced amongst Israel. They got spit on in the face, and they were known as he that had his shoe loosened. Y'all wicked, Israel. Y'all will not let go of the Greek mindsets. Verse 2. He that causes to resist our power made a contract, an agreement with us in Horeb. And he did. He made a contract and agreement with our ancestors. And this contract and agreement was the 10 Commandments only, okay? So keep that in mind. Separate this from the rest of the 613. And he that caused us to resist made not this contract and agreement with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day. He that caused us to resist talked with you face to face in the mount, out of the midst of the fire. I stood between he that caused us to resist and you at that time, to bring you the word of he that caused us to resist, for you were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, saying, I am he that caused us to resist your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of slavery. You shall have no other elves before me, no other powers before me, Yahshua. You shall not make any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the Shemayim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters, the Mayim, beneath the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I, he that causes to resist your power, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing loving kindness to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments, my mitzvot, my halakha, laws, my commandments, showing mercy and loving kindness to those that have a problem with just one commandment, showing loving kindness and mercy to those that understand the law but say it's just not for them. People are delusional, man. You don't think that you're wicked, but you're wicked. Now, when it says you shall not make any graven image in verse 8, it says here, no idol to represent our power, he that causes to exist in heaven. This is the practice of the nations. This is the practice the nations do, and these idols do not answer, and are without any authority or power. They cannot even blow a fly from themselves. Okay. Now, to go back up on some more, I have another commentary on verse, what is it? It says, where it says, I stood before he that causes to exist, and you at that time, to bring you the word of he that causes to exist, for you were afraid by reason of the fire. The word devar in Hebrew, or memra in Aramaic, is the personification of he that causes to exist. Okay? So keep that in mind. Devar, or memra, in Aramaic, is a personification of he that causes to exist. Okay? Now, back down here on verse 9. You shall not bow down yourselves to them, nor serve them, for I, he that causes to resist your power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Okay? And when it says generation, this is still true today. For those who hate he that causes to exist, usually their children grow up to hate he that causes to exist too. So the judgments pass on to the children. But if the children repent, the judgments will not pass on to them. They can break the curse by repenting and asking for forgiveness for what their forefathers did. And that is how you break the curses. That is how you break the third and fourth generation of iniquity that your forefathers did. You must confess their iniquity, repent for their iniquity, confess your own iniquity, repent for your iniquity, and never do those iniquitous sins again. Okay? Verse 10. And showing love and kindness to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. If you want the mercy of the he that causes to exist, then keep the Torah of Moses. all the Torah of Moses, okay? All the Torah that pertains to you. Do not have issues, do not have problems, do not have any hate for anything that is in the Most High's laws and his Torah, okay? Verse 11, you shall not speak the name of he that causes to resist your power in oaths falsely. He that causes to resist will not hold him guiltless, who takes his name and falsifies it or empties it by replacing it with another name. All praises to the Most High in the name of Yahweh. You in sin. To falsify the Most High's name and to bring it to nothing, this is not about taking the name. This is not about taking the name incorrectly or pronouncing it wrong, but it is about using it in oaths or dishonoring it by calling it something else. This is a gross transgression, or adding another deity to it. That is a gross transgression. Verse 12. Guard the Sabbath day to set it apart, as he that causes to resist your power has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but in the seventh day is the Sabbath of he that causes to resist your power. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your maidservant, nor your ox, nor your ass, nor any of your cattle, nor any foreigner that is within your gates, that your male servant and your maidservant may rest as well as you. Okay? Now when this goes in here and it says, guard the Sabbath day to set it apart as he has commanded you, it is he that causes to resist Sabbath and not man's Sabbath. It's not man's decision to decide on what day it should be. The seventh day is the Sabbath, all right, which normally starts 7 days. If you want to find the Sabbath day, the full moon is the new moon. The equinox, the equal day, equal night, count 7 days from that. Count 7 days from the first full moon from that. Okay, and then you will find the correct Sabbath day, and you will find the correct months and the correct time of he that causes to exist. All right, and it also the Sabbath goes from sunset to sunset. All right. Now, when it says here that he has commanded you, not commanded, but it says here that your maidservant, even servants are to be given Sabbath off. So you cannot have Gentiles working while you rest. So if you own a business, you need to have your business closed on the Sabbath day. All right, so now back to verse 15. And remember that you were a servant in the land of Mizraim, and that he that causes to resist your power brought you out of there through a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm. Therefore, he that causes to resist your power commands you to keep the Sabbath day, the Shabbat day. Right? Israel was, and in my commentary, in my notes I have from here, that I have written, says Israel was released on a high set apart Sabbath day from Egypt. That was on Passover. And that is correct. Okay. Let's see. Verse 16. Verse 15. And remember that you were a servant in the land of Mizraim, and that he that causes to resist your power brought you out of there through a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. Therefore he that causes to resist your power commanded you to keep the Sabbath day. Respect your father and your mother, for he that causes to resist your power has commanded you that your days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with you in the land which he that causes to resist your power is about to give you. You shall not murder, neither shall you commit adultery, neither shall you steal, neither shall you bear false witness against your neighbor. All right, and when it says false witness against your neighbor, I see men in and outside of the church bearing false witness. Yet this is very evil when brother or sister speaks lies against another for gain, pride, and ego. Very evil. Verse 21. Neither shall you desire your neighbor's wife, neither shall you covet your neighbor's house, his field, or his male servant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. These words he that causes to resist spoke to all your assembly in the mount out in the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and he added no more. He added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me. And it came to pass when you heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that you came near to me, even all the chiefs of your tribes and your elders. And you said, Behold, he that caused us to resist our power has showed us his esteem and his greatness. And we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Elohim will talk with man, and he lives. Right? And why does Moses say that Elohim will talk with man and that Elohim lives? Why does he say that? It is because the Israelites were under the impression that even hearing the voice of he that causes to exist would kill a man, but this was not so. So that's why Moses said that Elohim will talk with man and man will live. Because the impression that our forefathers had, that they thought that, well, if Elohim talks to you, you hear his voice, you're going to die. Why? Because the Most High said that nobody can see his face and live. Right? Okay. Verse 25. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us if we hear the voice of he that causes our power anymore. Then we shall die. See, and there you go with the proof right there. For who is there of all flesh that has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking out in the midst of the fire, as we have and lived? You go near and hear all that he that causes to exist our power shall say, and speak to us, that he that causes to exist our power shall speak to you, and we will hear it and do it. Did they say that they will hear it and decide that if they want to do it or not? Did they say that they will hear it and decide to say, oh, I hear that commandment, that law, I understand it, but it's not for me? And we will hear it and do it. That is the personification of Israel. That is true Israel. True Israel will hear and they will do. They will not backbite. They will not tongue lash. They will not murmur about the laws or what somebody is giving, the correction that somebody is giving them. For who is there, verse 28, and he that caused to exist heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me, and he that caused to exist said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken to you. They have well said all that they have spoken, and that there was such a heart in them that they would fear me and keep all of my commandments always. Did it say some of the commandments or the commandments you agree with? Did it say sometimes? No. All the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which you shall teach them. No, hold on. All would fear me and keep all the commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. So all you people that want to cherry pick commandments to keep, they want to say that this commandment is not for me, it's just not for me, and you wonder why your children are evil and wicked and doing evil shit, it's because right here, what did he say? That there was such a heart in them that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children for forever. Go, say to them, return into your tents again. But as for you, stand here by me, and I will speak to you all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which you, Moses, shall teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. You shall observe to do, therefore, as he that causes to resist your power has commanded you. You shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Right? And what does it mean by that? The words right and the left. Too much to the right means too much tendency to the judgment side, which too much to the left is tendency to the mercy side. We must be balanced in the middle, united by the Zadok, right? By the Most High and the Messiah that he is going to raise up, and he will be the middle pillar. Right? So don't go too far to the right or to the left. Don't go too far to the right of judgment, and don't go too far to the left, which is the mercy side. Okay? Stay in the middle. Stay balanced. You shall have your halakha, which is laws. Halakha is laws, commandments, Torah, laws, halakha. You shall have your halakha and all your halakhot, which he that causes to exist your power has commanded you, that you may live, and that it may be well with you, that you may prolong your days in the land which you shall possess it. Now here again, he tells you again, you have your halakha, your laws, and your halakha, your statutes and your commandments. Do them that you may live, and that it may be well with you and your children. How many times has he said that in this one chapter alone? Ponder on that. Meditate on that. Right? And he says you have your halakha and your halakha. That's commandment keeping. You have the commandments of Torah that he that causes to exist expects. He expects every Israelite to keep. Dispensationalism is the disease that has caused many to go into error over Torah. Chapter 6, verse 1. These are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which he that causes to resist your power commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you are going to enter and possess it, that you may fear he that causes to resist your power and keep all his statutes and his commandments which I have commanded you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Right? That your days may be prolonged. If you want a long life, then practice Torah, okay? That's all, and that's just the conclusion of it. He said it 3 or 4 times in this, the previous chapter. Keep the commandments to prolong your life. Don't have a problem or issue with any commandments to prolong your life. But Israel out here is wicked. They have a heathen Gentile mind, and they want to follow after things that the Gentile has taught them, and they don't want to let go of the Gentile heathenistic mind. They want to incorporate the heathenistic Gentile mind into Torah, and that does not work. Okay? Verse 3. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, that you may increase mightily, as he that causes to exist, Elohim of your fathers, has promised you in the land that flows with milk and honey. Right? Now, we are on verse 4, and verse 4, verses 4 through 9 through 10 is really the Shema, okay, what we read out earlier, right? So Moses told them to do the commandments and keep them, observe them so they can increase mightily, and then he goes on to give the Shema. All right? Verse 4. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, he that causes to exist, our supreme one, he that causes to exist is Echad, one. You shall love he that causes to exist your power with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk to them when you shall sit in your house, and when you shall walk in the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And this is the tefillin that the little hats wrap around their hands and around their forehead that has the little box. They are fulfilling this verse. All these camps be lying to you, telling you that, oh, you're not supposed to do that. You are supposed to do that. It is Torah law. He says to bind them. And if you go into the Hebrew and break it down, it is a physical action. It is not allegorical. It means to physically and actually literally bind them around your wrist, on your hand, and around your frontlets of your eyes. Literally. These teachers be lying to y'all, okay? So when you rise up and bind them upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the post of your house and on your gates. And it shall be when he that causes to resist your power shall have brought you into the land that you have swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Yaakov, to give you great and goodly cities which you did not build, and houses full of all things which you filled not, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant, when you shall have eaten fruit and be full. All right. So now we're going to go back up to verse 3 and verse 7, right, where it says when you rise up, right? So what is it actually meaning when it's saying that? three daily prayers, right? The morning prayer, the afternoon prayer, which is the Minha prayer, and the Marah prayer in the evening. We see this in Daniel, when Daniel was caught praying 3 times a day, and they went to make an occasion upon him. Okay, if you go into the Psalms, King David talks about morning, noon, and night. I will praise you. I will say prayers. We are commanded to pray 3 times a day, and this is where the Muslims and Islam gets it from. They get the 3 prayers a day. They get that from us and from the Torah. Okay. Let's see here. When it says you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, this is the tefillin, right? To bind on the hands, which is the Hebrew, which the little hats do. So see Exodus 13:9, all right? When it says write them upon your house, the mezuzah, this is the mezuzah. The mezuzah is to be put on your doorpost. These have a small Torah scroll certified by some type of Hebrew teacher to fix to your doorpost on the right hand side, right? So now I wanted to speak about when it comes to the Shema, when it says Shema Israel Shema Lakanu. I wanted to break some of that down, right? Now the enlarged Hebrew letter ayin and the raised dalet in the text. The ayin stands for the legs, and we know we were to hear and to do. This means we are to walk to obey Torah, while many just walk with no action. And in Hebrew, ad in Hebrew also stands for a witness. If you reverse the letters and append the tav, you get the at, which is knowledge given to you or us by he that causes to exist. He gave the speeches as a witness, which he gave a speech as a witness. This is revealed in the dalet picture of the mouth. You cannot hear through the legs, but you can hear through the ears and establish through the heart. If we look and establish our belief and walks, then we will not fall, as he that caused to exist said. If your belief is built upon miracles, then the chances are that it is not based on a firm foundation, since miracles can be falsified or at best only given momentarily comfort. Just look back to Egypt, where false miracles were performed by the magicians to outdo Moses, while real miracles were performed by he that causes to exist, became a remembrance. To hear and to do is a term that really means we will obey the commandments in the Torah. Right? So, to hear and to do is an action word, right? So you have that commentary on that. So now we're going to go to chapter 6, verse 12. Then beware lest you forget he that caused to exist, which brought you forth out of the land of Mizraim, from the house of slavery. You shall fear he that caused to exist your power, and serve him, and shall swear by his name, not Yahushai, but by his name. We are commanded to only swear by the name of he that causes to exist when taking oaths. For he that caused to exist your power is a jealous arrow among you, lest the anger of he that caused to exist your power be kindled against you, and destroy you from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt he that caused to exist your power, as you tempted him in Massa. You shall diligently keep the commandments of he that caused to exist your power, and his testimonies, and his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do that which is right and good in the sight of he that caused to exist, that it may go well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land which he that caused to exist swore to your fathers, to cast out all your enemies from before you, as he that caused to exist has spoken. And when your son asks you in the latter times, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which he that caused to exist our power has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Mizraim, and he that causes to exist brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And he that causes to exist sent signs and wonders great and sore upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from there, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he swore to our fathers. And he that causes to exist commanded us to do these statutes, to fear he that caused to exist our power, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. And it shall be our right ruling if we observe to do these commandments before he that caused to resist our power as he commanded us today. So if you don't do the commandments, if you don't do those, you say you have problems or issues with those, you're not right ruling. Right ruling means righteous. So what is the opposite of right ruling and righteousness? Wickedness. Okay? Wickedness. Now, I have some commentary on some of this. Let's see here. Where it says here, the house of slavery. We were saved. We were really in the house of slavery. No matter what religious background we may come out of, it is only Torah that truly sets us free. Okay, so keep that in mind. Only the Torah sets us free. Without the Torah, we are nothing. We are like beasts. Okay, we are no different than the beasts, because the beasts and the animals, they do not have Torah, but we do. It was given to us. In verse 14, where it says, "You shall not go to other Elohim of the Elohim of the people which are round about you." What does that mean? It means we are commanded. Means the people or the religion that is round about Israel today, right, is Islam. So taking the name of Allah is a transgression, and many Arab Christians are committing this transgression in ignorance. Same thing with Yahshua and the Christian nations around about, right? Where it goes on to say in verse 21, "Then you shall say to your son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Mizraim, Egypt." What does that mean? This is Pharaoh is a depiction also of Hasatan. Okay, so keep that in mind. That this is also a depiction of Hasatan. And when it says brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, this is allegory and a drash interpretation of the king Messiah that is to come. Okay. And he brought us up out of there that he might bring us in to give us the land which he swore to our fathers, right? See here. As it is, and that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. What does that mean? The commandments were not given to pick and choose as many Christians and fake Israelites do today. It is forbidden. So it wasn't given to pick and choose. Okay? And that's what a lot of them are doing. They are picking and choosing which commandments they want to do. When he that causes, chapter 7, verse 1. "When he that causes to resist your power shall bring you into the land where you go in to possess it. And he has cast out many nations before you, the Kitti, the Girgashi, and the Amori, the Kanani, and the Perezi, the Huvi, the Yabusi, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when he that causes to resist your power shall hand them before you, you shall conquer them and utterly destroy them. You shall make no contract or agreement with them, nor show any loving kindness to them. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Your daughter you shall not give to his sons, nor his daughter shall you take to your son, for they will turn away your sons from following me." Does it say to turn away the daughters? Nope, it says turn away the sons from following me, that they may serve other Elohim. So will the anger of he that causes to resist be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. Right? And it says, "You shall not give to his son." It is forbidden to marry outside of the community of believers who believe in he that causes to exist. Okay? It is forbidden. Verse 5. "Instead, this is what you must do to them. You shall tear down the altars and shatter down their pillars and cut down their Asherah poles and burn their idols." And little hidden insight when it says Asherah poles. This is the word Easter comes from this Hebrew word. So although celebrating Easter is really Asherah and the Asherah poles. Okay. Verse 6. "For you are a set apart people to he that causes to resist your power. He that causes to resist your power has chosen you to be a treasured possession to himself, above all the people that are over the face of the earth. He that causes to resist did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest among all people." Israel is still few in number due to the mixing, and will be brought back in full numbers. Okay, so keep that in mind. Verse 8. But because he that caused to exist loved you, and because he would keep the oath, which he has sworn to your Havot, the fathers, has he that caused to exist brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of slavery from the hand of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim. Know therefore that he that caused to resist your power, he alone is Elohim, the trustworthy El, which keeps contract and agreements, unmerited favor with them that love him and guard his commandments to 1,000 generations. Right? And when it says 1,000 generations right here, this is the Remez hint of the Most High coming down and Israel returning back into the land. Okay. Verse 10. And repays them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hates him. He will repay him to his face. You shall therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command you this day, and do them. So all these Israelites that are getting shot down in the street, they're getting killed, they are calling out in Jesus' name. They hate the Most High, and the Most High is repaying them to their face. I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds unbelievable, but that is the truth. Okay. Now for the Haftorah, we will go to Yeshayahu chapter 40 and read verses 1 through verses 26. So chapter 40, Isaiah chapter 40, verses 1 through 26. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort you, my people, says your power. You speak comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry to her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she has received of he that caused to exist hand double for all her transgressions. The voice of him that cries in the wilderness, prepare you the way of he that causes to exist. Make straight in the wilderness a highway for our power. Every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the esteem of he that causes to exist shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of he that causes to exist has spoken it. The voice said, cry. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass. All flesh is grass. And all the goodliness there is as the flower of the field. The grass withers, so the flesh withers, the body withers. The flower fades. So the body withers and their goodliness fades, because the ruach of he that caused to exist blows upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our power shall stand forever. O Zion, that bring good tidings, get you up into the high mountain, O Jerusalem, that bring good tidings, good news. Lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say to the cities of Yehuda, behold your power. Behold, Master, he that causes to exist will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom. He shall gently lead those that are with young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and had meted out Shemaim with the span, and comprehend the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who has directed the ruach of he that caused to exist, or being his counselor has taught him? With whom took he counsel? And who instructed him, and taught him in the path of right ruling, and taught him of knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he takes up the isles as a very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast there sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted him as less than nothing, and vanity. To whom then will you liken El? Or what likeness will you compare to him? The workman melts a graven image, and the goldsmith spreads it over with gold and casts silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he has no offering chooses a tree that will not rot, and seeks to him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Has it not been told to you from beginning? Have you not understood the foundations of the earth? Is it he that sits upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants there are as grasshoppers, that stretches out the Shemaim as a curtain, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in, that brings the princes to nothing? He makes the judges of the earth as vanity. Yes, they shall not be planted. Yes, they shall not be sown. Yes, their stock shall not take root in the earth. And he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. To whom then will you liken me? And shall I be equal, says the set apart one. This is for all y'all talking about Yahshua and all the other stuff. To whom then will you liken me? Or shall I be equal, says the set apart one. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who has created these things, that brings out the armies by numbers. He calls them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one fails. Why say you, O Yahweh, and speak, O Israel? My way is hid from he that causes to exist, and my right ruling is passed over from my power. Have you not known? Have you not heard? That the everlasting Elohim, he that causes to exist, the creator of the ends of the earth, faints not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He gives power to the weary, and to them that have no might he increases strength. Even the youth shall be weary, and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon he that causes to exist shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be weary. And that today, brothers and sisters, is our Torah Parsha, V'et Hananin, on this September the 7th, as the Gentiles and the heathens call September the 7th, this Shabbat day. That will conclude our Torah Parsha, okay? Keep on the lookout for the next video, where we will go into depth Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 1 through 6. We are going to go into the Hebrew. We are going to read those verses in Hebrew. We are going to break down each word, each verse, word by word, and we're going to break it down and get to the Hebrew, and we're going to look at the Hebrew pictograph of those words and see exactly what he is saying when he says, observe and do the statutes, judgments, and commandments. Because I am tired of Israel picking and choosing and saying, well, this commandment is for me. Well, I don't like that commandment. I understand it, but I just don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. I want to go home. In order for us to go home, we must repent as a nation, okay? As a nation as a whole. All right? So this is Brother Araya signing out for the Torah portion for this week. If you found this edifying, please share. Please share with your brothers and your sisters. Please leave a comment below. And thanks for watching. Until the next video, it will be on Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 1 through 6. We will do the deep dive, okay? To the next video, I bid you shalom and happy Shabbat. And until the next video, shalom, shalom, Israel, Baruch Hashem. And we will say the Shema before we head out. Shema Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Baruch Shem, Kavot Matut, Le'olam Va'et. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. And until the next video, shalom, shalom, Israel, Baruch Hashem. May you have abundantly shalom, and may the Most High heal you in all of your ailments. Shalom.